Ambassador Thexler of the Varanian Empire watched the human delegation walk out of the Grand Council chamber for the last time. Their footsteps echoed against the crystalline walls, a sound that would haunt him for cycles to come. He had voted for their expulsion. They all had. "Good riddance," Counselor Xynthia hissed, her scales shimmering with satisfaction. Those upstart primates thought they could dictate terms to species that mastered star travel before their ancestors left the trees. The council chamber buzzed with agreement. For 30 standard years, humanity had been a thorn in the Galactic Council's side. Too aggressive, too innovative, too unwilling to follow the established protocols that had maintained peace for 10,000 years. Their final transgression, refusing to limit their military expansion in the Outer Rim, had been the last straw. The vote had been unanimous, 847-0. Humanity was out. 3 months later, the Krillian swarm emerged from dark space. The first distress call came from the Delphic colonies. 12 worlds reduced to ash in 72 hours. The Krillians were unlike anything the Council had encountered in recorded history. They didn't negotiate. They didn't communicate. They consumed. Thexler stood in the emergency council session, watching the holographic displays with mounting horror. Red markers spread across the galactic map like a plague. 50 systems. 100. 200. Deploy the peacekeeping fleet. High Counselor Moravex commanded, his tentacles writhing with urgency. The fleet was decimated within a week. The Krillian bioships adapted to every weapon, every tactic. They learned faster than the Council's military strategists could plan. Entire armadas vanished into swarms of chittering, evolving nightmares. "We need to recall the humans," Thexler said during the emergency session. The words tasted like poison, but truth often did. The chamber fell silent. "Absolutely not," Xynthia snapped. "We don't need those warmongers. Our technology is superior." "Was superior," Thexler interrupted, displaying casualty reports. 17 species extinct. 400 billion lives lost. The Krillians adapt to everything we throw at them. They're winning. Moravex's skin shifted to a pale gray, the Zentari color of defeat. The humans? Their military doctrine was too unpredictable, too chaotic. "Exactly," Thexler said quietly. "Chaos is what we need." The message was sent on all frequencies. Humanity. The Galactic Council requests your aid against the Krillian threat. All past grievances are hereby forgiven. The response came 3 days later. It was a single word. No. Panic rippled through the council. Thexler found himself making the journey he'd sworn never to make, to Earth to grovel before the species they'd cast out. The Human Command Center was a stark contrast to the council's ornate chambers. Functional, efficient. Admiral Sarah Chen sat behind a simple desk, her dark eyes assessing him with a gaze that felt like it could pierce shields. "Ambassador Thexler," she said without warmth, "you voted to expel us. I remember. I was wrong." The words came harder than any diplomatic negotiation he'd ever conducted. "We all were. The Krillians are destroying everything. Billions are dying. We need our chaos?" Chen's smile was sharp. "Our reckless military expansion? Our dangerous innovation?" Thexler's crest flattened in shame. "Yes." Chen stood, walking to the window overlooking the shipyards. Hundreds of vessels hung in orbit, designs Thexler didn't recognize. "You told us we were too aggressive, that we didn't respect the old ways, that we needed to learn our place. We were fools." "Yes, you were." Chen turned back to him. "But humanity learned something in our 30 years with the Council. We learned that when the galaxy tells you to be smaller, to be quieter, to fit into boxes designed by ancient empires, sometimes you need to leave and remember who you really are." She pressed a button on her desk. The holographic display showed a star map, but the human territories had tripled in size since their expulsion. "We've been busy, Ambassador. While you maintained tradition, we innovated. While you followed protocol, we prepared. Then you'll help us?" Chen was silent for a long moment. "The Council threw us away like garbage. Why should we fight for you?" Thexler met her eyes. "Because despite everything, humans are better than that. Better than us." Something shifted in Chen's expression. "Damn you for being right." She activated her comm. "General Wu, initiate Operation Thunderstrike. All fleets to mobilize." Thexler felt his hearts begin to beat again. "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet, Ambassador. This is going to cost you." Humanity isn't rejoining your council. We're not your servants. But we are neighbors in this galaxy, and we don't abandon neighbors to extinction, even neighbors who abandoned us. The human fleet arrived at the front lines like a storm. Their ships moved in patterns that defied conventional tactics, split formations, feints within feints, weapons that combined technologies the Council had deemed incompatible. They didn't fight the Krillians with superior firepower. They fought with unpredictability, with adaptation that matched the swarm's own evolution. Admiral Chen's flagship, the Indomitable, led the charge at the Battle of Kepler's Gate. When her shields failed, she rammed her ship into a Krillian hive carrier, teleporting her crew out at the last second, while nuclear fury consumed the enemy command structure. The tide turned, slowly, painfully, but it turned. When the last Krillian vessel retreated into dark space, Thexlar stood once again before the Galactic Council. The chamber felt empty now. So many seats vacant, so many species reduced to refugee populations. "We owe humanity a debt we can never repay," he said to the survivors. "They saved us after we cast them out. They fought for a council that rejected them." Moravec stirred. "Should we invite them back?" Thexlar thought of Admiral Chen, of the indomitable sacrifice of the human fleets that had lost millions protecting worlds that had scorned them. "No," he said finally. "We should learn to deserve them first, and perhaps in a few generations we might." The resolution passed. A memorial was built in the council chambers, a simple human design. A plaque that read, "They came when we needed them, not when we wanted them." May we learn the difference. Humanity never rejoined the Galactic Council. They didn't need to. The galaxy came to them instead, slowly learning that true strength wasn't found in ancient protocols and rigid hierarchies. It was found in those who remembered how to stand back up after being knocked down, and who still extended a hand to those who had pushed them in the first place. That was the human way, and the galaxy would never forget it again.